Hey y'all, it's Brandy and welcome back to the Antisocials Library. Today I have a very exciting video because we are getting back into horror. We're talking about horror books and we're talking about a pretty extensive horror TBR that's going to take me all the way out to October, which is like a breath of fresh air to me. The way that I'm doing this is actually through this amazing creator's horror bingo. So this is Sarah over at Wicked Reading, and she creates a horror bingo card that she puts out every October, or at least she did in 2024, and then of course this year, 2025 into 2026. It's a horror bingo card where you try to find a horror book to match each one of the prompts to make a bingo or to black out the board, which is why she gives you an entire year to do it, is if you want to black out the board. Now, I didn't have an entire year because I was apparently living under the largest rock and I didn't know that this channel existed, let alone this challenge. I have already been through and binged so many of her videos. She is an amazing creator. She's like really calm and like soothing to listen to, but also like her reviews and thoughts of the books are really in depth and descriptive, and it's been really great to just be in her world for a while I binge all of her old videos. But one of the videos that I found again was this horror bingo, and I was like, okay, it's April, can I still do this? And she commented and said, you can at least get a bingo. Here's the thing, Sarah, what you don't know about me is that I am delusional and I am crazy and I am still convinced that I can black out this board. There are 25 prompts on this board and I still think that I can black it out. It'll be a primarily horror reading year for me if I do this, but I'm okay with that because that's one of my goals anyway, is to get back into horror. So I think this is serendipitous. I think this is a perfect combination of my two goals, and I'm also just really excited to be a part of this challenge and kind of like be on this other side of booktube where I haven't been before. So I'm going to talk about my TBR for horror bingo. And of course, I will have her channel linked down below, as well as the announcement video talking about this, and as well as her TBR where she talked about this, because she has a lot of great book recommendations. Even if you're not participating, she has a lot of great horror book recommendations. So anyway, let's get into, if you can see it here, this giant stack of books we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be here for a second, grab yourself a drink, and let's talk horror. One of the things about this challenge that is really interesting is you have just the prompts that are like the challenge, but she also creates a like normal mode and a hard mode. So a hard mode is you take the prompt and then she adds an extra layer that you make the book fit in that extra layer to make it hard. I would love to do this, and maybe next year if she does it again, I will do it this way. But considering I'm so late in the game and I am just living on a hope and a dream, I think that my way of doing this is hard enough. I think my entire challenge is hard mode. And the other thing is that I am not going to purchase a book for this challenge. So I created this entire TBR book off of ebooks that I already own and my physical TBR. So that is what's making this a hard challenge for me. But just so you know that that does exist, that there is a hard mode. I'm just not really focusing on those hard modes for my TBR. And one of the reasons that I can't even do that to begin with is because this first prompt is published in 2025. And the hard mode for that was you have to finish reading it in 2025. And being as that I found out about this in April of 2026, I cannot do that. But I did find a book published in 2025 that I would like to read that is already on my shelf, and that is Victorian Psycho. This I got in my aardvark box as an add-on, like not too long ago actually, because I feel like a lot of people were talking about this book and I missed it. Also, really quickly, I'm not gonna like go too far into what each book is about, just because we will be here forever if I do that, but just kind of a brief look into what these are and like how they fit the prompts. You know what I mean? But just know that all of mine are horror. You can complete this challenge with thrillers and like mysteries and like horror adjacent things, but I tried to focus on all actual horror novels. So just so you know, everything should be like, if not primarily horror, the next tagged genre is horror. So yes, Victorian Psycho. I just want to give you like a brief idea of what it's about, but it says, from the acclaimed author of Mrs. March comes the riveting tale of a bloodthirsty governess who learns the true meaning of vengeance. And it is blurbed by Paul Tremblay, Katrina Ward, and Ainsley Hogarth. So definitely into this one. Now for mixed media, I have Strange Pictures by Ugetsu. This is something that I'm interested in, but I don't have a lot of faith in, if that makes sense. But like, it's told in like pictures and sketches and diagrams and just like really random stuff throughout the story that I guess help tell the story. But it is the Japanese mystery horror sensation. It's translated by Jim Ryan, and the spine-tingling bestseller that has taken Japan by storm, an eerie fresh take on a mystery horror in which a series of seemingly innocent pictures draws you into a disturbing web of unsolved mysteries and shattered psyches. We shall see. The next one is indie or self-published. This one, I love this prompt because a lot of horror authors are mostly indie or self-published, and like to be able to pick from them as an indie or self-published means you're getting out of like the mainstream, and I just love that. But anyway, I am actually going to pick up This House Will Feed by Maria Tured. This is another aardvark book. I don't know if you've noticed, but I love aardvark. But this one is interesting. It says, in this atmospheric novel of dark historical fiction, a young Irish woman whose world has been ravaged by the Great Famine must confront hidden memories and a strange ancient power in a remote Clare village. So you're in the 1840s, and I love a historical setting. Especially in horror, I love a historical setting, and it's like haunted. So, and I also love a haunted setting. So a haunted house in the 1800s seems like it's made for me, so I'm super excited about this. For paranormal, I actually don't know where my copy of this is, but I swear I have one. And so if I can't find it, since I'm not buying anything for this video, if I can't find it, I will have to get it from my library as an ebook. But it is The Good House by Tananarive Due. This is a haunted house-ish story that I've heard really, really good things about, and I, based off of the premise, think I would really enjoy it. And it has been recommended before, I'm pretty sure by Gabby from Gabby Reads. I think that's why I bought it in the first place. So a woman returns to her late grandmother's home in Washington to uncover the truth behind her son's death and confront a generational curse tied to her family's voodoo heritage. So it's got supernatural elements and paranormal elements, hence why the prompt, and it's like a haunted house type setting. I don't know if the house is actually haunted, but it's at a house that is creepy, and that is enough for me. So that is what I will read for the paranormal prompt. Stolen from Another TBR is such a fun idea. So since I was late to the party, I had to go back and find some TBRs. I just looked up like horror bingo TBRs, and I actually found Deb from DG Reads, and I watched her TBR video and got a lot of great recommendations from it actually. And one of the books that she was deciding to read for her bingo card is a book that I own, which that is the challenge for me, is one I already own, and that is Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. This is like a slasher horror vibe. It's like very classic slasher, and it says, Hannah has been running from her demons ever since she emerged from a harrowing wilderness trip with without her fiance. No one knows exactly what happened the day Ben died, but Hannah would like to keep it that way, even if his ghost still haunts her with vivid waking nightmares that are ruining her life. So it's like a slasher haunted story. I mean, it sounds good. And Deb had mentioned that she had read a different book by this author and enjoyed it. So that was promising as well. I've not read anything by this author. This would be my first dip into his writing, so we will see how I do. The next prompt is vampires. So what's interesting about this one is the hard mode. I was actually really interested in participating in, because the hard mode for vampires was a vampire book that has a modern setting. But since I'm shopping my shelves for this, I couldn't justify going out and buying a vampire book, so I went to my vampire section on my shelf and I got one I haven't started yet, which is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This really intrigues me because it's vampire adjacent. So it's still vampire and it still counts, but it's not your like traditional vampire story. We're following the main character, who is a bloodletter. So like she volunteers to let blood consumers consume her blood. And I think it gets a little sapphic, and I think it explores the sexual tension between them and the desires between these two women. But it says, wanted, blood maid of exceptional taste, must have a keen proclivity for life's finer pleasures. Girls of the weak will not apply. Will need not apply, because that makes more sense. But yeah, a woman is drawn into the upper echelons of a society where blood is power in this dark and enthralling gothic novel from the author of The Year of the Witching. So, and I've not read A Year of the Witching. I don't think that I've read any Alexis Henderson. I'm not gonna lie to you, the cover is what intrigued me, which is actually kind of crazy because I am not a person on a cover girl. I don't like people on covers, but I'm obsessed with this one. And I'm not really sure why. But yeah, this is my vampire pick. It's not modern day, so I don't get the hard one on that one. But again, I'm shopping my shelves and I'm trying my best. The next one is water setting. Again, there are so many great book recommendations that could be set on the water. And I watched her announcement video and she said that it is supposed to be like primarily set on or in the water. Like not necessarily just like on the water, like on a, you know what I mean? Like on the water, like on a boat, I think is what she meant. I don't know. I didn't talk to her. I'm just making that up. But I decided to choose Jaws by the one and only Peter Benchley, because I've owned Jaws for many years and I've never read it. And Jaws is like one of my favorite movies. It's an iconic movie. And I always said during Summerween that I was going to read this because it's like perfect to read during the summer. And I never did. So I figured I need a water-based horror. And this is the classic water-based horror, like monster story with this like giant great white shark that is killing everyone. So we're going to go into the 1970s and we're going to read about a great white shark that has a taste for human flesh. Okay, so the next one has a horror movie element, and I think this kind of leaves it up to interpretation, but I'm actually going to do a reread for this one, which she said counts. Rereads count, she said. And I read this so many years ago, and I remember I listened to it on audio while I was painting my bathroom, and I don't remember liking it. Like, I don't remember having a good time with it, and I think that was a situational problem, not a book problem, which is why I kept it for as long as I've kept it, just kind of like looking for an excuse to read it again. And that is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This was my first look into Stephen Graham Jones, and again, I didn't like it. Like, I remember like vividly being bored by this book, and it shouldn't have bored me considering this book is kind of made for me. So you're following a young girl who is obsessed with the idea of slashers and like horror movies. Like, she's a horror movie fanatic, and she is like obsessed with the idea of becoming a final girl, but she's living in this town and she's realizing that a real life slasher movie is like happening around her and she may have to become this final girl. And like it has this like supernatural type of element. It's just like a crazy concept that really explored a lot of things that should have really landed for me and didn't. And then on top of that, I just read Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, and I'm obsessed with it. So I like his writing style and I should like this premise. So I'm going to give it another shot and I'm going to read it physically and like give it a really fair chance, because I think I was just in a bad headspace when I read this the first time and didn't enjoy it. So the next prompt is spell, ghost, or scare. And this was actually a lot easier than I thought, because a lot of books, especially if you include the author's name, has a lot of those letters in them. And honestly, the easiest one that I came across was the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. So massacre like literally has like scare right like in the title. So this is by Philip Fracassi, and I'm just really excited to read this. It's exactly what it sounds like. The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. It's a slasher that takes place at a retirement home, and I've heard so many good things about this. It's chunky. Like, it's a little bigger than I would have thought like a slasher would be, but it's getting really good reviews, and I didn't need an excuse to pick this up, but I'm glad I have one. Okay, so the next one is Liminal Spaces, and this is where I get scared, okay? Because I'm a delusional person. I'm a Delulu girl, and I genuinely think that I can black out this board, but with what books? That's the part that's gonna make me pause for just a second. I have two options for Liminal. One is on my Kindle, which I have, where I have The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I'm pretty sure that this is pretty well known to be liminal. And that's the other thing with this prompt is I can be positive that it's liminal, but until I read it, I don't know for 100% certain. But I'm pretty positive that this is has a liminal aspect to it, and I do have it on my Kindle. But my other option that I've been saying that I need to read for years is House of Leaves, which, you know, definitely has some liminal aspects to it as well. So, but like, it's so intimidating. So I have both options, and I think it'll come down to like how brave I'm feeling whenever I get to that point. Like, I'll either read House of Leaves and be able to mark this off my like literal bucket list. Like, it's literally on my bucket list. It's House of Leaves and War and Peace. Like, that is my bookish bucket list. And I will be either able to cross this off by the end of the year, or I would have read The Hollow Places. So that's my two choices for liminal spaces. Then we're jumping down to library book. Obviously, this one is a little up in the air because you can just like walk into your library and pick up a horror book and it like counts. But I do already have Dead of Winter on hold at my library. So once that comes in, I might just go ahead and use that as this prompt because it's kind of perfect. It's a horror, it's Darcy Coates, and I'm waiting for it to come like through my library. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna do for that prompt. All right, we've gotten to the pick by chance prompt, and this one like really scares me, but let's talk about it really quickly. So in this mug, black like my soul, but I have written down all of the horror books that are on my TBR that aren't included in this stack that I'm already talking to you about. And you can see the different colors. So pink are books that I'm like not excited to pick up, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just not excited to pick them up. Blue is like, I wouldn't be mad about it. And green, or like these green colors, are like, yes, 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 I wanted to pick that up. So I figured that would be fun to categorize them that way. And this is my picked by random. We're gonna go ahead and pick it now. I'm not gonna wait until I'm like waiting to film a vlog for this. We're gonna do it right now during this TBR because I need to know my fate. I need to know. I can't wait. So, oh my gosh, please be something good. Okay. All right. What color is it? Tell me what color it is. I can't. Okay. Okay, it's blue. Okay, it's blue. Get my hair off of it. It's blue. Okay. What does it say? Is it upside down? Oh. Okay. It's the black phone. Let me get it. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. He's yelling. I should go check on him. Hold on. Okay, so I've acquired the book. It is The Black Phone by Joe Hill, which is Stephen King's son, which is cool, I guess. The reason that this is blue is because I'm not really a short story collection girly. I'm really not. But I am intrigued to watch the movie, and I am intrigued to like read it because I've heard good things about it. So blue is okay. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about the pick. But Side note, that's something that I like really noticed when I was putting this list together, is I have a lot of pink in here. So I don't know if I need to do like a read it or unhaul it, or as is it called on my channel, is a shelf it or stake it with horror specifically, because there was a lot in here that I like didn't really want to pick up. So I might need to purge my shelves soon. But that's a side note. We're getting there. We're like halfway through. This next one is a book you have been putting off, and this one was kind of hard for me to pick because, as I just talked about, there were a lot that I wasn't like super intrigued to pick up, but I decided to go with Pen Pal by Dathan Arbach. This is a horror novel that has gotten a lot of good reviews, and the thing is that it has like really creeped people out, and that's something that I don't really get a lot in horror. I don't actually get like viscerally scared while reading, and apparently this is doing that to people. So I don't know why I've been hesitant to pick it up, but something about it when I like hold it, I don't want to read it. I don't, and it's not that I don't want to read it because I do, but like I never reach to pick it up. I never like, oh, I want to read Pen Pal, like, but I definitely need to read it because I need to know if I get scared. I felt the same way with Stolen Tongues, this one, and I ended up not really liking that one very much, actually. So I hope that's not telling to how this is going to go. But this is, really quickly, let's read what it says. In an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, a man begins to reconstruct his past. As games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it's from a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he had never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish that you could forget what he never knew. Okay. Well, that's one that I've been putting off, and I'm gonna read it this year because I'm gonna complete this prompt, and we're speaking it into an existence because I'm gonna black out the board. We're just feed into my delusion, okay? Next one is LGBT plus rep, and I'm picking up The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. I think this is sapphic. I'm actually pretty confident this is sapphic. I'm so deeply obsessed with this cover. So deeply obsessed with this cover, and I've heard mixed things. I've heard good and I've heard really bad, so I'm not really sure what to think of it, but I'm gonna have an open mind. It says it's a transfixing fever dream of medieval horror, and I think that sounds awesome. I think that sounds incredible. So the next prompt is buddy read. This is where I'm tweaking it just a little bit. I'm bending the rules. Rules are meant to be broken, and I'm not breaking it, I'm just bending it. Because I'm really putting all of my eggs in one basket here. I really am. I have a person in my life who, if you have watched this channel for any length of time, you have heard her name. Her name is Amanda. She is one of my best friends in this world, and we love to read things at the same time. So I have a feeling, and Amanda, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. You can tell me if I'm wrong and call me a liar, it's fine. But I have a feeling that if I picked this book that I think she will also like and ask her to buddy read it with me, I think she will. And that book is The Nesting by C.J. Cook. And the reason I think that we would both like this is because it's an isolated horror setting where there's like a paranormal third-party villain that like isn't one of our main characters. And I just think that we would both really enjoy listening to or reading this book and then discussing it. So I'm putting all my eggs in this basket, and I'm gonna ask nicely with a cherry on top if Amanda will read this with me, and then that will be that buddy read prompt. All right, 2 more rows to get through. We're almost there. So for the recommended prompt, I'm actually circling back to Sarah from Wicked Reading because she did a video called Hot Girl Horror Pics. I am super excited to have seen this book on that list because I'm really eager to get to it, and I needed a reason to, and now I have one, and that is Mother Thing by Ansley Hogarth. This is basically like if you got married and your mother-in-law was everyone's worst nightmare combined into one person and then make it horror. Novella, this is one of the exceptions to my Stephen King reading order So if you don't know, I am trying to read Stephen King in publication order, and I've been on this journey for several years with several year break in between because sometimes you just need it. So this is one of Stephen King's novellas, but it is Sundog. This is, I can't remember which collection this is a part of that was originally published, but I have this individual copy of just the novella. It's an interesting premise. It's about this boy who gets gifted a Polaroid Sun 660, but every single time that he takes a picture, like no matter what he's aiming at or who's around or whatever, he sees this like big dog in it. It seems really creepy and kind of awesome, and I hope I enjoy it because Stephen King can be hit or miss, but most of the time for me he's a hit. Next prompt is planty, eco, or nature horror. And this one was hard for me to find on my shelves because I just don't have a lot of that. But I did recently get from Book of the Month Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. So I had read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews and really enjoyed it. So when I saw this as a backlist pick for Book of the Month, I decided to add it so I can own it and eventually get to it. And now is as good as a time as any. The next prompt is a title that includes a verb. And the title that I picked, I grappled with kind of like back and forth because I don't know if this is a verb. Like you itch something, or like do you scratch something? People say both. I'm using it. I don't care. It's itch by Gemma Amore. So this is a cover buy. I don't even know what this book is about. This was 100% a cover buy. It's from Aardvark. I saw it, said I need to have it, and then got it. I think itch can be considered a verb. I don't personally say I itch things. I say I scratch things. Like you scratch and itch. But people use itch as a verb, so I feel like that counts. Anyway, the next one is Second Chance. So this is a author that you are giving a second chance to. And mine is Chuck Wendig, and the book I'm picking is Staircase in the Woods. So I read the Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig, and I really didn't like it. Like I didn't. I thought it was too long and dragged on. I just didn't really have a good time with it. But I got this in the Evernight box, and it gives it vibes because it's about a bunch of like teenagers in the woods and they like uncover this supernatural thing. So it gives me very much like it vibes, and I love it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. So I have hope for this one, but it is a second chance because I just didn't really fall into Chuck Wendig's writing. It didn't really grasp me for as long as of a book that it is. And this one is also pretty long, so it kind of makes me a little bit scared, but I'm excited to try it again, and I own it, so might as well. Okay, last row, and we gotta hurry too because my camera's about to die. The next one is Animal on the Cover, and this is the other one that I pulled from my Stephen King shelf because I couldn't really find a book with an animal on the cover that like was animal enough. I'm going to read Gerald's Game by Stephen King. So this edition specifically has a dog on it. So I will read this edition specifically. I do have the original hardcover that I collect, but this one has an animal on the cover. Do I know what it's about? Absolutely not. But a game, a husband and wife game, Gerald's Game. But this time Jesse doesn't want to play. Lying there, spread-eagled and handcuffed to the bedpost while he looms and drools over her, she feels angry and humiliated. So she kicks out hard, aims to hit him where it hurts. He isn't meant to die, leaving Jesse alone and helpless in the lakeside holiday cabin. Miles from anywhere, no one to hear her screams. Alone, except for the stray dog that smells her blood, the voices in her head which begin to chatter, and the board which creaks stealthily at nightfall, signaling that something or someone else is close by. That's not what I was expecting. That's not what I was expecting. So the next one is one word in the title, and I'm going to pick Leech by Hiran Ennis. This one I've had again on my shelves for a while. I'm pretty sure I picked this up when Kayla read it from Books and Lala and she really enjoyed it. And then I never got around to it because it intimidated me because it has like a science base, and I'm not a huge science fan in fiction. But I did just read Project Hail Mary and fell in love with it, so maybe I'll love this one. Not really sure how that's correlated, but makes sense to me. All right, the debut book is one I'm really excited about. It's another Aardvark pick, of course, but that's Spoiled Milk by Avery Curran. This cover alone deserves all of the flowers, okay? Because look at it. Claps for this cover designer. I'm deeply obsessed. But it says, the untimely death of a student at a girls' boarding school turns out to be the first in a haunting series of escalating supernatural events. A thrilling gothic debut about teenage repression, queer desire, and the everyday horror of coming of age. So this one actually could fit a lot of different prompts on this bingo board. The next prompt is a book that works with another goal. So this one is another one that is kind of hard to plan in advance, unless you're a crazy person like me, because I already have a goal set for the year. It's a mental one. I haven't made it like publicly or anything, but I want to read down my book of the month books because I have so many book of the month books that I haven't read, and yet I get one every single month. So like, I really wanted to bring down that backlist. So the one that I just got, literally just now, but is book of the month, so it still counts. It's Mocha by Monica Kim, and this is the same author that wrote The Eyes Are the Best Part, which I loved. I was deeply obsessed with that book. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. If it's anything like The Eyes Are the Best Part, then I'm gonna love it. And it's book of the month, so it helps with my goal of reading down book of the month. The last prompt is one with social commentary. And I tried really hard not to double up on authors too much, but I did with Stephen King, and I'm gonna again with Stephen Graham Jones because I really want to get to The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I, once again, loved Buffalo Hunter Hunter. I just read it and I can't get it out of my head. And some of the commentary that that book illustrated will stick in my brain until my brain stops functioning. And I have a feeling that this will do the same thing. Okay, so those are all the books that I plan on reading for the Horror Bingo Challenge. I will have until September 30th to read all of these books. That's crazy. I will keep you updated on my journey, of course. I am just really excited. I'm excited I was able to find a book for every single prompt without having to go out and buy any, because I'm really trying to read down my physical TBR, and this is just such a great way to do it while reading horror and participating in a challenge. Like, it's just perfect. So yeah, thank you so much to Sarah for like hosting this challenge and creating this challenge. It's gonna be a really good time, and I'm really excited to see how everyone else is doing. Let me know what you think about any of these books. If you've read any of them, please tell me what you think about them, or if you have any other ideas for maybe something that'll fit the prompt better. I might be persuaded, possibly, to get a different one, maybe from the library. Go down below and let me know what you think about this challenge, and if you're participating in this challenge, or if you want to participate in this challenge. And of course, all of the links to everyone I mentioned will be down below as well. And while you're down there, if you don't have anything else to say, is there a milk carton? Do like a milk carton or an orange juice, or I don't know, something juice for spoiled milk. I don't know, or cheese. That's gross, but like, do something like that. And we can all just chat down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can hit that little bell notification so that you know the next time that I post, because it may be a little bit more frequently lately, who knows. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and just remember to read well and rest well, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.